Calin, good to see you. Could you give a short introduction about yourself?
Sure. My name is Calin. Originally I'm from Romania. I now live in Cyprus, and I joined the real world, very, very, late into the real world journey, if that makes sense. Like the real world has been
Mhm.
open for a while, and I mean, I just joined, and I'm making money. Super excited to go ahead with this interview.
Okay, nice. I love your energy. How
Thank you.
comes you moved from Romania to Cyprus?
Right. So it's actually more of a political reason. When I was around five, like the current president at the time was like, just underpaying my parents. It had like constant problem with money. So
Mhm.
we were very short of money. The rent was super high. So what we ended up doing was like, okay, cool. We have family in Cyprus. So let's just go there. So that's pretty much the
Mhm.
story. Yeah.
So since 5 years old, you've lived in Cyprus.
No, yeah, correct. When I was
I see.
five, I moved here. Yeah.
Right. Okay, and if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
I'm 18.
Okay, 18. And where did your real world journey begin then? How did you find out about it? What did you go into when you joined?
Yeah. So the story behind it might make me look like a real asshole. I joined in because I was like, you know what? I see all of these people doing, AFM, and I was
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna join and I'm gonna try that. I feel like everything the real world teaches is a scam. I feel like they don't teach you the proper stuff. I feel like people that join in, they just join in to learn the most simple, basic stuff ever. So I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't think very highly of the people that joined the real world at first. But what ended up happening is I joined, and then I obviously AFM wasn't, was pretty close because that's not really the main way to make money in the real world. So eventually, what ended up happening is I joined because of that, and then a new campus opened. It's called the Content Creator Campus now. And then I joined it, and then the rest is history.
Okay, perfect. So
Yeah,
please go into your journey throughout content creation.
awesome. So whenever the first campus joined, I'm really excited to talk about this because I'm a very competitive person. So whenever I joined, I saw this new campus open, and then I saw this opportunity. I was like, you know what? This is a brand new campus. No one has made money in it yet. So I'm like I just saw like I was a shark diving in the ocean, ready to eat fish. It was like fresh meat. I was like, cool. I'm gonna
Mhm.
go in that campus. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna learn everything. I'm gonna go through all the lessons, and I'm going to become the best student ever.
Mhm.
That was literally just my goal. I want to go in and become the best student ever. So what ended up happening is I go inside, I started learning the stuff, I put it to practice. I try to be as humble as possible because my professor, I call him my mentor now. One of the things that he teaches us is being humble, being able to not be cocky, listen to the people above you, learn, because it wasn't just learning how to do the skill, it was also mindset lesson. I feel like that was like the most important thing that I've learned. The mindset lesson. The mindset lesson was crazy, man. And I just go in there. I started doing all the lesson. I started going through all of the submissions, and eventually, I was the first one to pass the exam. We have like exams there. You have to pass to get a certain role. And then Pope actually said to me this, right? Hey, Calin, you're doing great. Felt amazing. So what I want you to do is I want you to wake up. Well, he didn't say this, but he said, I want you to start outreaching as much as possible. Stop caring about the videos. Stop throwing in your submissions. And I just want you to start outreaching like crazy. So I was like, cool. I'll 100% do that. Obviously, I'm very dedicated to the campus. I'm very dedicated student. So 100% I started doing that. I woke up one day, 7 a.m. in the morning. I was like, you know what? Today, the only thing I'll be doing is outreaching. Nothing else. I don't care what comes up. I don't care who calls me. I don't care what happens. From the 7 a.m. in the morning, I started outreaching until 12 a.m. the next day. So it was midnight. So I just started outreaching like crazy. I followed what my captain said, what my professor said, and within that day, I think I managed to get around like 500 outreaches, something crazy like that. It's actually blocked I was actually blocked by the email bot saying that you sent way too many. I wanted to send more. I was like, you're blocked by the email. You can't send any more. I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? The good news is that after all of those outreaches, I actually got a response. They're like, hey, yeah, let's do it. Let's work together. And I got my first win, and I was actually the first one of the camp. Super stoked about that, and I'm very proud of it.
Okay, I mean, your energy is one of the highest I've interviewed. So, did you learn this from the content creation campus, or were you always like this?
So if you actually see my submission, so before you enter the content creator campus, with you have like the content creator side, and then you also have the UGC side, which is what I did. Before you get into the UGC side, you actually have to send a submission first, and then an apprentice, a captain, or Pope himself, the professor, he actually reviews the videos. And if you see my first video, I was like, hey, yeah, so the real world, I was just extremely low energy. All the stuff that I'm doing on camera right now and all the money that I've gotten was from the real world. I've learned everything about speaking to camera, everything about energy, authenticity, humor, everything. It was just from the lessons in the real world. Hope teaches us. So 100%,
Wow.
yeah, from the real world.
I mean, I'll need to go through those lessons myself, seeing how much you've improved in that case. That's definitely something that will be beneficial to me as well. And I'd like a bit more in terms of what do they teach in the content creation campus outside of actually improving your speaking? Do they teach client outreach as well? How to work with clients, more along those lines?
Right. So, good question. Inside the content creator campus, what we teach is we have actually we teach you how to work with AI. But that means you can write prompts, and then you get an AI image, and you can use that for absolutely anything: thumbnail, reel covers, whatever you want to do. And then we also have video editing. We literally teach you how to go on the preferred editing software, which is Adobe, and then you actually learn how to edit step by step. Like Pope just does all the tutorials step by step, teaches you absolutely everything you need to know. There's not a single thing missed. It's actually crazy how much in depth it goes. And I feel like this could be very, very beneficial for the people who want to do reel, for the people who want to do editing. And yeah, you learn stuff like that. And yeah, pretty much.
So multi-purpose, very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and now about your 500 outreaches. Where did you find the people to send emails to? What was your strategy there?
Cool. So you see, my strategy, I think, is a little bit different than most people's strategy. And the reason for that is because, like I said in the beginning of this interview, I'm born, well, I'm not born. I'm currently live in Cyprus. And the thing about Cyprus, it's an island in the middle of fucking nowhere. So it's like, it's very difficult to ship products here. So what I thought I should do instead is look for digital products. So what I did is I opened up my app store, and it's funny because in every single one of the apps, the email is there. But just go like everything you could imagine. I went through like fitness, I went through MMA, Muay Thai. I do Muay Thai myself, and then I went to like boxing. I went to apps about productivity. I just went through everything, man. And then I didn't care, to be honest, about if I really like the app or not. I'm here to make money, so I just sent as many outreaches as possible. That was the goal for that day. Absolutely.
Okay, and then you landed your first client. What did you need to do for them? And also, what was the process of actually securing that client like? So, did you go on a sales call? What did you offer them?
So the process is I sent him an email, and then he responded to me, how much do you charge? That's usually like the question you get. And then I responded with, you don't want to say like your rates first, because money and rates scare people away. So you would just say something like, oh, what's your brief? Do you have a brief? Do you have like an idea in mind of what you want to do? And I actually very, very much recommend you go on the sales calls, but because this was my first client, I didn't. And to be completely honest, I was completely like scared to go on a sales call. I was like, I'm not doing that. If I go on a sales call, I'm just gonna shit my pants. I'm just gonna be
Completely
scared.
normal, yeah.
Huh?
Completely normal for your first time. I'm sure that's
Yeah,
the same with everyone.
yeah, I was very scared, and I mean, what we did is like, I messaged him. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, cool. What's your price? I was like, let's give me a brief. And it's like, yeah, I'm thinking of doing this and this. I'm like, cool. I'll be back in 48 hours. And the best part, I came back in 24, over delivering.
Good. And what exactly did you provide them?
So at the time, what I did is just UGC, which is creating a video ad, pretty much. So they wanted a video ad for the app, which was like a platform game app. Like it was like one of those idle games or whatever. And then what I did is I just did the video ad just like Pope teaches us in the Content Creator Campus, and I just did it. I provided it, and then he was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's change this." And then what I did, I actually upsold them. I upsold them on the revision, and I added stuff like subtitles. I added stuff like screen recording, overlay, and yeah, I mean, upselling is something you learn a lot in the Content Creator Campus.
Interesting. Okay. And how much have you earned from when you started content creation?
So, what ended up happening is I got my first client, which was what, $70, and then after some time, after the first win, that's when it started getting extremely easy. So at some point, I started getting a win, then I started getting another one, and then I started getting another win. So it just kind of snowballed from there. So I've actually made $1,000 within 1 month from the real world, just like that. I didn't even know what UGC was. I just did it, just based on the lessons that he taught us.
Right. So a completely new campus, and you've made $1,000 from it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And how does this scale something like content creation?
So if you want to, you can continue making, video ads and editing for clients just like that, and that can scale pretty well. In terms of like, if you get multiple clients, you can start looking to. You know what's crazy? Pope has told me personally, with just 2 clients with video editing, like with all the stuff that you need to, all the stuff you need to use for it's in the Content Creator Campus. With just 2 clients, you can get upwards to 10,000 per month. With just 2 clients, that's all you need. And then obviously after that, you can start looking into coaching people. You can start looking into a personal brand. This really depends. There is serious money to be made here.
Okay, I'd like a bit more of a breakdown there. So from one client, you can potentially charge $5,000 per month. And what would be included in that price for that client? What services?
A lot of clients might want to, for example, edit the videos. Some of them might want you to record the videos too. Perhaps you could fly out to them. Perhaps you could just do it digitally. They might want some recordings, which that includes it in the price. Also, obviously, video editing. It could be some sort of making shorts. Like you have all the content you make for them, and on top of that, you charge for shorts, for reels, for TikToks, whatever it may be. And then again, just recording, just doing everything content related. This includes thumbnails. And it's funny because literally everything, including thumbnails, including reels, including talking to camera and recording, you learn all of that in the Content Creator Campus. So it's not like it's going to be a very difficult thing to do.
That's a huge amount of value there. Great to hear. And how different is your average day now then compared to before you joined the real world?
Before I joined the real world, what I ended up doing is, oh man, I was a party kid. I might be young, but what I did is I always, every single day, last year in the summer, I don't think I've missed a single day of going out to a club ever. I've read out the sound. I went out every single day. I've wasted my time with my friends every single day while eating McDonald's. Just overall being lazy. I had a very big lazy problem. It was actually crazy, the transformation the real world has made me do or go through. Because if you got me and you interviewed me before the real world and after, the difference is just so immense. You could not call me Calin anymore. I was an entirely different person. Very lazy also, very lazy. So now I wake up and I start working. So whenever I'm awake, I just work. I don't think I waste a single second. Maybe if I eat, if I sleep, if I take a nap, but I still consider that work, obviously. I might, let's say one of my old friends want to meet up and talk about something, might go out a little bit. But mainly what I do is I wake up, I go on my computer, what I call my battle station. I go on it, I pull up Adobe Premiere Pro, I start editing, I start outreaching, I start, talking to this client, I go on meetings, I just pretty much do something all of the time. There's not a single second wasted. And I wouldn't have been like that without the real world, honestly.
Right. And what would you say to people who think that is excessive to be working so much?
I actually used to be one of those people. And I have friends who are still like that. And they actually ask me, how do you do that? And the way I go about it is, it's actually pretty easy. And the reason is because whenever you start working and working and working, and that's the only thing you know, it's going to become routine. And it's going to become a new normal, to the point, I'm not joking, to the point where if you were to like watch a Netflix show or, do something else rather than work, it will become weird. It will just be like, what am I doing, man? I'm wasting my time. It's almost like it's considered work to not work, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think after some time, if you actually put in the work and you actually get, accustomed to this new routine or whatever you want to call it, eventually you think it's completely normal. You won't have a single problem with, oh no, it's too much work. And even if you do, it doesn't matter, because you know that there is literally no other option but to work. So it's going to get easier.
All right. So that mindset shift you had, that was just in the past few months, right?
Yeah.
Very short time period. For some people, it takes years to get rid of a bad habit. But you just completely 180 in just a few months. So that's very good to hear. I mean, congratulations on that as well, Calin.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I look forward again to seeing how everything's going for you in another 3 months or so, just to get a progress report and update. I'm sure you'll be doing very well by then. Okay, now, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when you were first starting out in content creation?
So the biggest challenge I faced with content creation, to be completely honest, it was putting my face out there. I was actually kind of scared to show my face to people. Just overall, I was like, I don't want people to know who I am. I don't want to show my face out there. Eventually, I realized that, I gotta be kind of honest with myself. Who would want anything from me? I don't matter. I don't have anything right now that could be used against me. Like, I'm not a very important person for my face to be used against me. And I have to be very honest with myself. I have to humble myself. And I realized that eventually, if I put my face out there, it will do more good than harm. And additionally, another problem that I had is doing these recordings, doing the editing whenever I didn't feel like it. Because here's the thing, right? Before I joined the real world, I was obviously very lazy and all of that. And I only did stuff that I was supposed to do when I felt that motivation, is what we call it. And that motivation is, I was like constantly seeking after it. I was very, very like, I'm not doing anything if I don't have motivation. I'm not in the right space of mind, leave me alone. And that was a thing I had to completely switch. Just the mindset lessons, the AMAs, everything that includes in the content creator campus and in the real world in general, it has really opened my eyes. And I feel like I say that, and a lot of people will think that that's just me saying it, but no, I truly mean it. It has actually opened my eyes. I've gone through a lot of productivity videos online and how to structure your day correctly, how to do this, but none of them have that Aikido. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't actually tell you practical advice what to do and how to think. And I only found that in the real world. To be like, I'm being genuinely honest here. Like there's no other place where it does that better. No other place.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess that also answers another question I had, which was how different is the material within the real world compared to what's out on the internet? So that correlates. Do you have anything more to add to that?
Um, no, I mean it generally just is super different. You see a lot of these people creating like um, courses, like, hey, how to make this amount of money in this amount of time, how to make mindset, how to have mindset, and it's usually nothing practical. There's literally no, I don't think there's any competition to the real world. The real world literally have the best because it works with results. All the professors have to actively teach the students. A very big difference between learning the stuff online and learning in here is the live feedback you get. That's the most important, the live feedback. Because you can have all of these videos, you watch them, you learn, but then you might miss something. You might do something else that you missed, or something else you might do wrong. Who's gonna tell you that you messed up? Nobody. In the real world, though, it's different. Because whenever you submit something, whenever you ask the professor something, they're always gonna be there helping you. So I think that's just one of the big. It's only $50. I don't know, man. It feels like I'm scamming the real world. Does that make sense? I'm just scamming the real world at this point.
Right. Because, yeah, insane amount of value for such a low price. And it's a shame people attribute in the outside world, I mean, I say outside of the real world, people who have bought courses before, usually they're overpriced and undervalued. So people aren't used to having something that's the opposite, underpriced and overvalued. So to them, $50 and you get this much, it must be a scam. There's no way. So yeah, I mean, I completely know where you're coming from, especially from all the success stories I've heard myself. Okay, so what would you say for what kind of an impact has Tate had on you?
How's Tate? Okay. Oh my God. So am I going to something a little bit personal here? I hope this doesn't offend anyone, whatever. Okay, I just want to share this to some people. About a year ago, this is a very intimate story, so I'm gonna get cozy. About a year ago, actually around this time, around May, my best friend that I knew for around 8 years has passed away, sadly. Obviously, all of my friends were shattered. I was shattered. Um, I was actually at the lowest point of my life. So I'm gonna share this. Every single night, I used to have like panic attacks. I used to be extremely anxious. I used to be very sad, depressed, you could call it. And I just didn't know like what was happening. I was very confused. I obviously had no direction. I didn't know what was happening. Now everything was just extremely low. But then, some time passed. My parents called like a psychologist for me, and they were like, yeah, let's here, take these pills. Bro, they prescribed me Xanax. And I was like, yeah, I'm not taking those. Even before Tate, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. So I didn't even take those pills. I didn't listen to them. But then obviously some time passed. I was still very low. And then this guy, this bold, awesome guy, went on my phone, on my TikTok. I used to watch a lot of TikTok. I don't watch TikTok anymore. I just started scrolling, and I see this guy talking about stuff. And obviously, before, because all of my friends, were very vast. I'll explain later. We all were like, who is this toxic dude? Who is this toxic masculine man? What is he trying to tell us? Oh, do push-ups. Oh, that's not gonna solve your problem. Like, it was very. We were very against it. All of my friends were very against it, and it was very difficult to like him. Because if you did, you're an outcast. You're like, oh, this guy likes Tate. I'll tell you a story real quick before I continue. I once was talking to a girl, and then I texted her, hey, I actually like the things that Tate says. And what she did, she screenshotted that and put that on her Instagram story. Anyways, it was around that time, like people very much did not like Tate, including all of my friends, my personal friends. So anyway, some time passed, and one of my best friend at the moment, he said, you know what, dude, you know this Tate guy? I've tried doing the 500 push-ups in one day. Listen, I know he's toxic, whatever, but give it a try because it actually might be like a very, very good mental test. And I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. You know, you're testing me. Okay, I can do it, man. I can do it. So the next day, I was like, cool. In the morning, started doing my push-up. 1, 2, 3. And then by the end of the night or the end of the day, I was like very exhausted, and I reached the 500 push-ups within one day. I was extremely proud of myself. Hell yeah, I did the 500 push-ups. And then I started watching more and more Tate content because I associated that win with him. You know, the more I watched him, the more my life has became, the better my life has became. Because, you know, I was that very, very sad, depressed, anxious little kid because of my best friend, you know, passing away. And then this is actually exactly what I needed. The timing was perfect. Absolutely perfect. That happened. That very sad thing happened to me. I started watching Tate. Then overall time passed and passed. And the more I watched him, the more I followed, you know, what he says, his advice, the better I became in life and as a person in general. Obviously, that made my friends, you know, push me away from some time, and I was completely fine with it. I took the sacrifice. I started telling people, guys, you have to understand this Tate guy isn't talking shit. Like, you should actually look into the things he says, watch his podcast fully. Don't take the short form content just, you know, just out of context into 100% consideration. Just watch everything he does. And eventually you realize that this G, top G, is actually teaching you how to become a G like him. And I felt like that was super inspiring. That just changed me. That literally was the start of when I went from my low point all the way to the high point. This is why I'm here. This is exactly why I'm here. So absolutely changed my life. Love Tate.
And what do your parents think of the change they've seen within you?
Initially, they were very like, what the hell are you doing? Like, they were very confused. They thought I started going insane. But eventually, some time passed, and then I was like, yeah, look, I mean, I'm working hard, I'm making money. And you know, initially my mom was like, yeah, you're getting scammed. You're definitely getting scammed here, you're whatever. And I started showing it was really funny watching her reaction. I started showing. And then she was like, what's going on, man? Why are you getting money? It was super, super funny to me because like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm making money. I'm cheating as a person, and there we go. And then she was like absolutely like so confused. Right now, she's on my side, so perfectly happy. I got her on my side 100%. You're like, yeah, keep going. You're bringing in money. That's what's important. So absolutely.
Right, good. And yeah, thank you for the story before that as well. I understand the pain of losing your best friend. So yeah, I mean, I've been through something similar, so I know how much it hurts. And it's great to see how well you're doing, even though it's just a year has passed. I mean, for me, I think it took longer to recover. But yeah, it's good to see you bounce back and you're doing very well now. So yeah, I mean, again, congratulations. That's the third time I've said it. I don't know how else to phrase it. But amazing to see just how much of an impact the real world has had on you, Tate has had on you, and that you're having a positive impact on the people around you as well. Now, I'd like to wrap up soon. So, what would you say have been the biggest insights you've learned from your time within the real world?
The biggest insights, the biggest mind shift change that I had, actually, that's what it was. It's a mind shift change. I started taking into account what one of the professors says inside the real world. They have a lesson. And one of my favorite lessons, and I think it's a very popular one, and it is for a reason. It's an amazing lesson. Whatever you're thinking during the day is what you're going to be doing. It's what you're going to be investing your time into. So what I'm talking about explicitly is if you think about work, if you constantly do work, if you constantly dream about work, only think about work, and that's the only thing in your head, eventually your whole world, your whole environment will be filled with work. That's pretty much it. And I feel like going from a kid who started playing video games every single day and was like, how do I improve on this video game? How do I get better? And then getting into this, into the work thing, only work. That was like the biggest 180 for me. That lesson, I think, is my favorite lesson. It actually absolutely changed me. So, love that.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, and now, since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in short term, medium term, long term?
Short term, make more money, obviously. Medium term, perhaps look into something like a personal brand. I want to be able to coach people because inside the content creator campus, what I do is actually coach people. We go on Zoom calls every single day, and I tell people what they do in the UGC formats, what they do wrong. I tell them, hey, you could do this better. I improve them to have some experience. So I want to keep doing that. Absolutely love that. And just overall personal brand coaching people, or maybe showing people the right pathway or something. Long term, take over the world in a good way.
Completely fair. Good. Okay. So for the short-term goal, we'll do that follow-up, as I said, in about 3 months.
Yeah.
And we'll continue doing them until you reach your goal, your long-term goal. And
Awesome.
document the progress along the way. Great. So now for my final question, for people who are still unsure about joining the real world, they're thinking, I don't know, what if it's a scam for $50? I can't quite wrap my head around it. What advice would you have to them?
So if you think it's a scam, you have to think about what's really scamming you right now. You wake up, you either go to a job or you go to school. You go to this, you go to Starbucks, for example, you get a coffee, 14-pound coffee. You get all of this clothing, all of this stuff that costs so much money, and then you invest in things that don't give you money back. That's what a scam is. I feel like you're getting scammed because you're paying for something that is overpriced. You're paying for something that could cost less. And overall, I feel like it's very hard to wrap my head around this question because now that I am inside the real world, it's crazy the amount of value they give you. So it's absolutely crazy. If you think you're getting scammed, you're actually getting scammed if you're not in the real world. That's what I'm gonna say. You're getting scammed if you're not in the real world because you're missing out on money. And you have all of these students, all of the people that are making money in this channel, on Rumble, on YouTube. You see all of these people. And I feel like a lot of people, this was me. I feel like a lot of people look at these videos and they see, oh, these people are getting paid to say this. These people are just actors or whatever. No, I'm a real human being. I started from the real world, but made no money. And then I actually got to making money. This is not a scam. I'm not being paid to say this. This is a genuine story, and I'm just sharing it. So, yeah.
Great. Okay, Calin, thank you for that. And thank you for your time. Thank you for the insights. For people who want to find out more about you or contact you, when can they do so?
Yeah, they can do in the Twitter. My name is on Twitter at editor Calin, no space. And in the real world, I'm Calin space S dot. I'm an apprentice or captain in the Content Creator Campus. If you have any questions or anything, go ahead, ask me. I'm super down to answer all of your questions. So, yeah.
Perfect. So I'll add those to the description of the video. And yeah, Calin, I wish you all the best and look forward to the follow-up interview.
Thank you. Me too, man.